Welcome back to our season premiere of high school football tonight. For the first time in 43 years, Owasso kicked off the season tonight as the defending state champs. The Rams winning in Bill Blankenship's first season last year and started their quest to make it 2 straight tonight against an out-of-state team in the Bentonville West. Fox 23 Sports Director Nathan Thompson joins us now live from Owasso. Nathan, this game just wouldn't end, would it?
Yeah, I just got down on the field from the press box after calling the TV play-by-play for the Cox broadcast. And as you said, they're trying to defend their state title, but you wouldn't be able to tell it from the field here. They didn't do any special ceremony before kickoff, didn't have the trophy, the gold ball out here. They're focused on this team, this season, and they start off with a strong test against Bentonville West from Arkansas. We start off the season in style. Great ball game between these two teams. Will Keeney to Trey Goins, 29-yard touchdown, 7-0 Rams on top. But the Wolverines come storming back. Jaden Jackson, great catch, 14-7 Bentonville West on top. Let's go to the third quarter. Tyree Smallwood, big-time running back from Bentonville West, 33-yard touchdown run. Owasso down 31-14, but the Rams come storming back. Dawson Adams, 6-yard run, only down 10. Let's go to the fourth quarter. Keeney to Trey Goins. This one, 72 yards for the score. Owasso only down by 6. Next drive, Keeney again going deep, this time to Mario Kirby. This one, only a 60-yard touchdown. Looks like he steps out of bounds, but they don't call it. Owasso goes on top by 1. Tucker Swoboda intercepted by Deuce Mayberry. 18-yard return for a touchdown. Owasso now down by 8. And then late in the fourth quarter, Keeney to Dawson Adams. That puts the nail in the coffin. The Rams win their season opener. 56-40 the final score, and what a comeback it was for this Rams team. They were down by 17 points with 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter, then just poured it on for the victory. Head coach Bill Blankenship real proud of this young team.
You know, I think there were a lot of opportunities for us to raise the white flag, and we didn't. We've got a quarterback that's a warrior, and he kept getting guys around him to raise up. And, man, I'm telling you, I think we can build on this. We're still young and ain't going to go away. You see a lot of flaws out there, a lot of things we got to correct, but I am excited about a team that will not quit like this.
It's kind of interesting. You might wonder how good of a win is this. You're taking on an Arkansas team. You might not be familiar with that level of competition. Both coaches before this game said Class 7A in Arkansas, which is what Bentonville West was, and Class 6A1 here on the same playing field. This was a quality win to start the season for the Owasso Rams. Jeff?
All right, Nathan, now to a matchup of rookie head coaches. Victory Christian taking on McLean. You had Dub Maddox, who's actually a published author, leading the Conquerors and also the former Jenks offensive coordinator. He was paying a visit to former NFL wideout Willie Ponder. Check it out. Ponder getting ready for things here on the sideline. Final preparations. Maddox going over the game plan. First quarter, Titans inside the 5. Jalen Holmes coughs up the rock. Caleb Edwards falls on it for the Conquerors. End of the quarter now. Conquerors QB Garrett Williams has an arm. It's a wide-open Joshua Sirleaf. Victory breezes up 8-0. Second quarter, Williams with some precision passing here. And that's Edwards, same guy that had the fumble recovery. He rolls in, breaks a tackle, and scores. Victory with a shutout in Dub's debut, 52-0. Kiefer Trojans hosting Morrison tonight. First quarter, Trojans with the rock. Riker Hughes gets the interception, though. That gives Morrison the ball, and they'd capitalize. Hughes running through the D, hits the corner, goes in, and makes it 6-0 Morrison. On the ensuing kickoff, pay attention, though. Kiefer with some answers on special teams. All that special teams practice paid off. Hayden Cooper breaking tackles and then throws it into sport mode. All the way for the score. However, Morrison is able to take down Kiefer 39-6 tonight. Miami visiting Claremore Sequoia. Third quarter, War Dogs with the ball. Gavin Payton finds Jordan Freeman. Look at him. Barrels in for the score. 17-10 Miami on top. Fourth quarter, War Dogs trying to seal the deal. Payton feeds Caden Folks. Caden knows how to eat. War Dogs win the game 24-10. All right, always one of my favorite parts of the show here. It's time for a segment I'm now calling Geller and the Guru. Heather standing by live with the man who I'm very confident knows the nickname of every football player in Green Country. That'd be the Tulsa World's Barry Lewis.
That's right. I'm sure he does. Barry knows just about everything when it comes to high school football here in Green Country. But first, let's talk about tonight's game here at Broken Arrow. The Tigers with their first win since, 2008 over Union. Just how big of a win exactly is this for BA here tonight?
Well, they didn't win a championship tonight, although we heard "We Are the Champions" sung out here as the game wound down. But it's a huge win for Broken Arrow. I look at it as potentially similar to what Owasso did at Jenks in Week 0 last year. Owasso didn't win the championship that night, but it was a huge statement win by Owasso last year. And, of course, they wound up winning the state title, and I think that potentially could be the same for Broken Arrow this year.
And speaking of Jenks, let's talk about that game. New head coach now, new era there for the Trojans with Coach Riggs there now. Picks up a win tonight. How big is that in his debut?
A couple of things why it's really big is they lost to Bixby last year, so that's huge for them to get off on the right track this year. And also with the new coach, you want to get that first win under your belt. The main Jenks, it was very big for them to avoid that 0-4 start that they had last year. And so the Keith Riggs era is off to a great start with Jenks.
Just what are the expectations for Jenks moving forward this season, do you think?
At Jenks, the expectation is to win the gold ball, which would be their 6th in 8 years, although they've lost in the semifinals the last 2 years. So their expectations are still the same, even though they've got a new coach. And they've got a realistic shot at winning the gold ball. I think there are 4 teams in the area with that realistic shot, although after tonight, Broken Arrow looks like the favorite. And
quickly, let's touch on that team that won the gold ball last year, Owasso, picking up a win tonight in that long game.
Very impressive. Owasso down early against Bentonville West. Owasso with a lot of newcomers to the starting lineup this year, but they found a way to win. A great job by Coach Blankenship to lead the Rams to victory tonight.
Just what do we expect out of this season for Owasso quickly?
Again, to contend for the gold ball again, to show that last year was not a fluke, and I think this is just shaping up to be a sensational year for high school football here in Oklahoma.
All right, you heard it out of his mouth, sensational year for football in Green Country.
Definitely a lot to chew on after tonight, guys. Thanks. Booker T. Washington might have the most talent, though, of any team in the state this year, and most people certainly expect the Hornets to defend the 6A2 state title. The Hornets will actually kick their season off tomorrow in Arkansas against North Little Rock. Last year, Booker T. dethroned 3-time defending champ Bixby. It was the Hornets' first gold ball since 2010. And Heather, who you just saw, will be making the 2-hour drive tomorrow to cover Booker T's opener. Make sure you catch those highlights tomorrow night on Fox 23. It's the first week of the season, but who can take home our top play of the night?
Owasso starts its quest for a 2nd straight state title with a bang. What head coach Bill Blankenship learned about this young Rams team.